And as I'm sure you're all aware, very recently MF Doom died, which is sad, to say the least. He was one of my, well, not even one of my really. He was like pretty much my favourite, like most favourite musician, musical artist, creator of musical pieces of all time. I always said my top list was like MF Doom was like the tippity top, and then Beastie Boys slash the Flaming Lips. They're like the three biggest sort of, and then like Task Force, which are a UK hip hop outfit. They're pretty much my main favourites, but MF Doom, I mean, just for, I mean, his output, his creativity, like, and the fact that he was always so strong on, you know, he'd rap about himself, but like not himself, his character, you know, the supervillain that he was. Which is, there's someone I used to skate with a lot when I was younger. He made a very good point of saying he likes rap by people who can rap about stuff other than themselves, which I think is a hugely valid thing. That really sort of resonated with me. You know, it was, well, it sort of validated a point I already felt myself, you know. That is the most sort of interesting rap. And rap music, you know, hip hop and rap, it's like, and punk come from like the same sort of spaces, just in different, slightly different, you know, places. What's the fucking word? Geologically, is that the word? Fuck, with maps and shit. Geographically, they come from different places geographically, punk and hip hop, but politically and in terms of, you know, creativity and soul and stuff, they come from the same place. So that was always something I, like, always, it was something I was into, was rap and hip hop, because, you know, that sort of creative DIY aspect of it all, do it yourself. You don't need rules and regulations, man. You can just get out there and do it. And then to come across someone like MF Doom, who was like creative, but on a whole other level of being creative. All of his music was creative. His, you know, his verses, his rhymes, his word play, his fucking metaphor, I don't know, whatever, words and shit. He's good. He was good. He was very, very good. And yeah, I mean, to hear about him dying was really, really sad. I don't really care about most celebrities dying. In fact, it's usually funny. But yeah, just to know that, like, there will never be new Doom music is like, oh, it's pretty mad to think that. He's one of the fucking best, and he's one of, like, how, you know, I speak about Ashley Wood being like an artist's artist. Doom is like a rapper's rapist, a rapper's rapist, where, you know, a lot of top tier rappers, like, you know, actual rappers, not modern nonsense rappers, they'd put Doom as their favourite rapper because he's so good, man. You know, never got that, like, mainstream success. But you don't really need it, do you? He had success doing what he did. You know, he might sometimes have people come onto stage impersonating him instead of him showing up on stage, which is a bit of a weird one, but, you know, this mask's too small. This should be, like, down here. I was going to do a Doom piece anyway, some sort of, like, I don't want to say a memorial piece. This is a bit grim and maybe not quite what I'm going for, but, you know, just something like in memory of or whatever. And then someone was commissioning me to do a piece anyway, and they had a couple of ideas of something they wanted. One of those ideas was a painting of Doom. And now that he's passed away, now that he's fucking gone and died, the big bloody bastard, the person commissioning me thought it only right that I do a Doom piece. So I'm doing a Doom piece. Or trying to. I'm coming up with ideas. I've got a couple of ideas. One idea I had was to have like the mask like this, like floating above the body, like an invisible man kind of thing. But I wasn't sure if it's going to be like, if it's going to be an in memory of kind of piece. Is removing the person from it, would that be considered disrespectful at all, or like lacking in some kind of way? Because I just think it's quite cool visually to have the mask like this, and then like the body underneath with nothing here. I think that, you know, as a painting, that can make quite a cool visual. Maybe it might be a bit tacky, but put some sort of like crown thing here as like a, you know, he's the king of what he does, gone but not forgotten. It might be a bit cliche, and that's what I'm worried about, is doing like a Doom piece that's cliche and it's I also thought it could be quite cool to do a piece like this, where it's, you know, Doom as Doom. That's how I draw Doom. With, you know, him actually wearing the mask. Shoulders, a hand here holding a microphone. And then paint it in like my comic book style or whatever. With the colours of the Operation Doomsday album, because I've done a few different versions. I think I've done three separate paintings of like my versions of the Operation Doomsday album. So this, you know, could be cool to do it similar to that, but without the because it has Operation Doomsday and then MF Doom here. But just to take the colours, so like a red in the background, reddish orange with some reddish orange glow, like here and here. Have him in a green shirt, like Doom on the cover, like a purple underglow, because there's like purple clouds in the background on the album. So if I put like a purple underglow here and on the arm, that reddy orange, maybe fade it from like a lighter orange into a deeper red here. Little ewan face. Do-woom. 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 Doom. Do-woom. Get it? It's funny and it's cute. The kids will like that one. They like that shit, that shitty nonsense. So yeah, I think this could work. I like the idea. Like the Invisible Man, and it is, you know, it's about the mask, not the person, but then like the guy, it's the person who's died. So I don't want to like take away from that by only paying tribute to the mask, because you should pay tribute to the man, the guy, Doomele, who I think his name's Daniel. Is that right? Am I making that up? Daniel Doomele. I think it begins with a D, something Doomele. I know it's like that. I think that's the guy's actual surname. And considering it's pronounced Doomele, the fact that it's Doom, I don't know if that was hugely intentional, but it works. You know. Like my rap name, I've actually got two rap names. My first one is Mr. E, because obviously my name starts with an E. But if you say it quickly, it sounds like this: Mystery, Mr. E, Mr. E. Yeah, so that's my first rap name. My other rap name is MC Shits. Either like that or like that. MC Shits, and then my because every rapper has a producer. Like Atmosphere, the guy who raps isn't Atmosphere. Atmosphere is Slug, the rapper, and the name of the producer that I forget. Idea and Abilities, it's those two. It's not just you don't just go to see Idea, you go to see Idea and Abilities. Idea also passed away sadly, and his name's cool because his name was not cool, but it's like his name was Idea as opposed to Idea. So my name is MC Shits, and then my producer, my DJ, is DJ Giggles. So together we're Shits and Giggles because that's funny. Shits and Giggles. So it's play on your name for your rap name. So he might have done that originally, or he might have come up with the character first. This Doctor Doom character. I don't know. So I think I will go with this and do it in the Doomsday colours. I'll pop the Doomsday thing up at some point, or my paintings on the screen, just to be like, this is what the fuck I'm talking about. So just a painting very much like this one here, just head on. Just respectful little memorial piece for the man that was Doom, man. Now let's take a look at an art book. Oh, we like that. We like this segment, looking at art books. This was quite a surprise art book. It was a Christmas gift. I believe it was one of those like, oh, comic art. Ewan does something with comic art. I'll get him that book of comic art. Turns out this is actually a really fucking good book by a really fucking good artist. So it's a surprise, like originally just like whatever, but actually a really fucking good gift of a book. Marvelosity, the Marvel Comics art of Alex Ross. Alex Ross paints shit like this. It's all hand painted, which is great. Very, very different to how I paint with the 2000 AD Bisley, Fabry, whatever style. I believe it's largely watercolours. It looks like acrylics and stuff as well. It's got a fucking big, fancy pull-out cover. Shit all over it. Look at that! Doom! That's relevant. Ah, cool. Cool. And the beans. But of course we do prefer... Oh, see! Okay, that's frankly, Captain America is boring as fuck. Never, ever, ever, ever had any fucking interest. Even the smallest amount. It's pretty neat. In Captain America. So, cool enough cover. But, fucking look at that shit, man. Hulk. That's good. Chinese Hulk? I don't know. It's fucking good, man. Good grief. That's the book. Cool. I'll try to keep it in frame because it is very good. Now, looking through here previously, as I had, there's a bunch of Hulk paintings in here, so I might focus on those. That's quite funny. A Hulk mask made out of a paper bag when he was a kid, and that sculpture, he might have sculpted it himself. Designed by Alex and sculpted by somebody else. Okay. Well, that's cool. We won't poo-poo him for that. It's the guy in his studio doing his thing. Lots of like photo referenced, sort of photorealistic paintings of Marvel characters, it goes very well with. There was a series he did the artwork for. There we go, Hulk. He paints the Hulk so well. Like, obviously, he paints people well. He can paint really well. He does really good with the human figure. But his Hulk pieces just they got so much life to them. Man, I love his Hulk paintings. I might scan in all the Hulk pages and make like a little collage, because they're really fucking good. Because that's really fucking good. Especially because you can only photo reference it so much until you have to start making bits up. So he's fucking good. Good on that. Good one. Good. Yeah, he did a series. Did the artwork for a series called Marvels, I think, which was, I haven't read it. Oh, good. Okay, that's super nice. That's funny. This is almost why I wish I'd kept some of my old shitty childhood artwork, just so I could do this. To go, look at that fucking stupid hand. Kids can't draw for shit. They're fucking stupid and worthless. But then, you see, this is what he's doing now, or more recently, compared to then. It's like, oh, okay, somebody grew and developed as they got older, did they? Well, look at the hairy knuckles and shit. Fucking good, man. Oh, love it. Love. Obviously, I love the Hulk anyway, because I'm a fucking shit. But his Hulk specifically is really, really quite good. Handmade toys. It is cool to see as well. Being like, if you do art shit as a kid, you do this shit all the time. You make your own toys and shit. So that's really cool to see. But knowing that he went from that to doing stuff like this, that's fucking banging. Submariner. I guess that makes sense. It's Fantastic Four. It's Fantastic Four. Submariner. He's got a real name, but I don't fucking know what it is. Look how thick this book is. I could spend ages looking for it, but I'll focus on like the Hulk and stuff. But there is the series called Marvels. Marvels. They did the Alex changed things. There you go. Did the artwork for a series called Marvels, which was very, very based in reality. It wasn't like this fantastic world full of superheroes and villains and all kinds of shit. It was grounded in reality, and especially in terms of the Fantastic Four. I've not read them, so I could be completely talking out my arsehole. It's like people are scared of these heroes. There you go. There's the Human Torch, and everyone's fucking scared because they're like, what the fuck is going on? And that's what that series had. It was very grounded in reality. And his artwork really, really fucking nailed that look, because his artwork is from photos like this, where he manipulates the photos to get that like inverted on fire look. Some reference from Dave McKean from Terminator. That's the final piece that was used. It's so fucking good. References. See, he sets toys on fire, takes pictures to draw them. Which is, I love and have a huge amount of respect for using photo references to that degree, because it does give your artwork like a real quality, like a realistic quality. But I'm also a lazy fart and a sod and a shithole and a poo bag and an ass brain and a snot-eating little fucking slug shit. So I don't do it, and I quite like having some reference, but mostly have it made up so it looks more sort of fantastical and cartoonish, which I think is where my artwork leans into like cartooning more as it does realistic artistic depictions of actual human forms and such. He made this fucking Galactus helmet, put it on his friend, took some pictures, which is really, 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 really cool. That's really fucking cool. But, so this is the artwork that came out of it. It's a little bit too realistic for me. Like, when I think of Galactus, I think big person, but he should look more sort of alien and otherworldly, almost more cartoonish. Because the idea of him is silly. A giant man in the sky, like God, which is, silly in itself, that eats planets. He should look crazy and otherworldly. I don't necessarily capture him that well if I paint him. But in certain, like Kirby, for instance, Kirby draws Galactus in such a way that he looks like this weird otherworldly thing, whereas this looks like a person in a costume, which I'm a bit like meh about. The artwork is incredible. It's really well painted, but it's just, does it fit everything? And I think the Marvel's stories, see, that's like a weird mutant girl. For X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and whatever else was in that series, his artwork works really well for those because they are very sort of grounded superheroes. They have, and I guess Captain America was the other one. They are, yeah, realistic sort of heroes. So having a realistic style, putting them in a realistic setting, really works for that sort of shit. Yeah. Anyway, let's find some more Hulk. Oh, these are quite cool. Old Kirby covers, and he does his own versions of them. That's pretty neat. Old Captain America hitting Hitler. We can appreciate that, especially in the current times. And there's his painted version. That's fucking cool. We dig that shit. Hulk. Obviously Avengers, cool, whatever. But Hulk, look at that shit, man. So you got Iron Man being Iron Man in his old weird fucking iron kettle armour. But then you got Alex Ross painting it. Fucking look at it. That's insane. That chrome look. That's like, it's a fun, interesting and difficult challenge of a thing to paint anyway. I've tried it a few times here and there. Occasionally I can just about get it to work, but in general it's really fucking hard to do because you're not painting a colour, you're painting a reflection of everything around it onto it. So you've got to paint a reflection of this guy in here, plus the sky sort of bending around it behind him, the ground underneath him, fitting the forms with glare and shit. It's not just paint chrome colours, because there is no chrome colour, because chrome is the colour of whatever was reflected in the chrome. But also the fucking Hulk, so that's cool too. Ant-Man riding some flying ants, the Wasp, Thor, cool, but the Hulk, we love the Hulk, we love the Hulk. The Hulk is very good. More, I like that. That's like what I did with the Operation Doomsday album cover. Take the album cover, that's cool. Here's my version of it. Obviously, this isn't that, but this is something like that. Yay, Hulk! Sculpted by Alex, so he did actually sculpt this. He modified a doll for modelling reference. So he obviously modified a doll of the Hulk that he could use as reference for drawings, because then, as I've said, a lot of artists do that. Ron English is one who comes to mind immediately for building sculptures of his characters and stuff, setting them up, making sets for them, lighting them all crazily, and then painting what he sees. So give different lighting to this model, then that gives a lot more sort of feeling and realism to your paintings. And that's fucking cool too. I assume that's just like a colour test or something on a piece of paper, because it's just like old paper in the background. But really fucking neato burrito painting of the Hulk. Spider-Man's cool, I guess. Oh, I do like him, but you know, whatever. That's cool. Classic, very like the first introduction of Spider-Man, and sort of a modern updated version of it. And I like that it looks like a guy in a suit, which is what... see, in terms of Spider-Man, I like guy in a suit, because it literally is a guy in a suit running around, jumping on buildings and shit. Someone like Galactus shouldn't look like a guy in a suit. It should look like a fucking intergalactic, powerful being that eats planets. Something like Spider-Man should absolutely look like a guy in a suit. I remember watching... I saw it in the 90s. I think it might have been a 70s or 80s TV show of Spider-Man that I saw on the television. My dad was around, so I don't know how young I was. That's a lot of Spider-Mans. Cool. And that show, you know, they didn't really have special effects, but they used camera trickery and stuff to have Spider-Man climbing up buildings and shit. And that blew my mind watching that as a kid. Like, this looked fucking insane. But I always remembered noticing it was a guy in a costume. It wasn't some alien, it wasn't CGI, it was a guy in costume doing crazy shit. And you're seeing crazy shit happen, but ultimately it's a guy in costume. So to be able to depict guy in costume like he did here. This absolutely looks like a guy in the old Spider-Man costume doing this shit. Obviously, he would have used photo reference and stuff, so that's perfectly reasonable that he would come to that, finished piece. But it's so easy to paint Spider-Man as just like weird naked body that's painted blue with red and spiderwebs on it. But to actually make it look like guy in costume doing things is a bit of a tricky one. Especially with, the more modern, I think like from Todd McFarlane onwards, where he took Spider-Man and put him in all these crazy unrealistic positions with his legs and arms bent every which way. That took Spider-Man to another level of being almost more like a creature than a man in a costume. Whereas, he's supposed to be a man in... But fuck that, look at this! Fucking look at that! Is that in shot? Cool. Fucking... Like an 8... I don't know if this is from a story that was published or printed. I don't know because I don't pay attention to shit. If it was, cool. But, look... So that's like a little banner, and then the Hulk is this weird ape thing. Just look at it, man. It's so well drawn. And there's like a model he had made, and a drawing for the model. It's so good. The shading and shit, man, and the veins and like a gorilla Hulk. We do like that. We do like that. Oh, it's more Spider-Man. Great. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'll see if there's any more Hulk in here, because, I want to spend all night. I mean, I could spend all night looking through this book. The artwork is very, 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 very good. Like I say, it's all hand painted. And it absolutely has an energy to it that, digital art does not have to it that this stuff does. Cool. I like that it does show in this book his props that he obviously uses to paint. I assume he buys them, makes them, whatever. Designs or studies rather. That's cool. Very, very cool. Yay! The Hulk. I have one thing to say, no three. Kirby. The massive physicality that we identify with the Hulk and the Thing is all because of Jack. You need his hand to make that work. That's true. Jack Kirby made the Hulk like this big bulky thing as opposed to Green Man. And Alex Ross does it justice, absolutely. Whoa. And it's not remotely. I joke being like, haha, Daddy Hulk. I don't find him remotely sexually attractive. Like, I'm not past finding alien or weird green people of male or female or otherwise attractive. I'll find cartoon people attractive, cartoon creatures, but I don't find the Hulk attractive. It doesn't do it for me sexually. It's not. I'm into some weird shit. Not the Hulk. I just like the character. I like I like drawing him. I like him as a thing, as a design, as a thing that has been designed and created. I like him for that aspect. And I like the character and the idea about him. But as I have stated, the lighting in that man, the red underlighting and the green. I have said before how I'm not a fan of the Hulk comics in general because there's very few stories I've read of the Hulk that I'm interested in. But I like the Hulk as a thing as opposed to all the story, which is the same with Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man and the idea of Spider-Man, but you get through 2 or 3 of the stories and they just start getting like, ugh, this shit again. That's really cool. I love the red. That's cool. The screamy face. The inverted face there. We like inverted paintings. That's fucking good. That's really, really nice. Really solid feeling. Oh, Captain America. Hooray for bloody Captain America. Oh, isn't he the most interesting bloody hero of all bloody time? Let's devote pages and pages to that shit. Thor. Marvel Thor fucking stinks. When you think about what Thor is and where Thor comes from, like in terms of mythology and stuff, the Marvel Thor is fucking stupid and rubbish and boring and fat and gay. I hate him and I want it to stop and go away. And I never want to see him again. Hulk. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just pointing out the Hulk where I see him. X-Men. Kind of cool here and there. Wolverine versus Hulk. That's pretty neat. I mean, that's cool. We like that. This is a really difficult area to draw and paint. The shoulders going into the arms and shit. That's really nicely done. A lot of white on there. It's quite a dangerous, almost scary thing to use that much white. But when you know what you're doing, you can put huge amounts of white on to really, really great effect. A redesign of the costumes. Whatever. The Thing's cool. I think again, I like him as a design piece as opposed to a character, but whatevs. I guess that's all colour studies. Really, really nice ones. I really do like the colours. Oh, excuse me. To Doom. Classic villain. And a bunch of shit of him doing pictures that turn into paintings, which is cool. It's cool to see that. And painting the piece with the thing. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, if you're into that, whatever. Oh, look, it folds out. Wow, that's cool. Oh, I think that's him. He redid, like, this comic strip, but in his style. Which is cool. Again, I like doing that. Redoing older shit in my style. Spider-Man fighting in Sin 6. And that's the book. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, look, it's the Hulk. Like I say, I think it's the way to go. Homage to Doom as a whole, as an artist, as a creative, to his album Reds / Orange, as they pronounce it in America. Green / purple here, and I would like to paint him like, because I've done a few drawings and stuff of like the Hulk but in a Doom mask. I think it would be quite cool to do like painted like an Alex Ross Hulk but like MF Doom. I don't know. It might actually be worth studying because Alex Ross does a lot with like I showed you Iron Man and chrome effects and stuff. So that would be something to look at for his mask. And then, you know, look at the Hulk's body proportions and stuff for Doom's body proportions and stuff. It's a lot you can take into account. So this is just going to be like a preliminary sketch. Get an idea for the painting, and then I'll, you know, do it bigger. Or I might have to do, which I have to do a lot, which I think a lot of people do, is you do like a thumbnail sketch, and you're really happy with it. You've got the sizing, the proportions, style. You're like, okay, that's cool, and then you try and recreate that bigger, and you just cannot fucking get it to work. No matter how much, page after page after page, trying to redraw this thing from a small size to a big size. So what I usually end up doing is either scanning it, taking a picture, blow it up, trace it, and then use that. I've done that for loads of paintings, actually. Which, you know, it's not... It's easy to say, tracing, but, like, it doesn't even come into it. Like, tracing is here, and then doing that shit, blowing up thumbnails for your own artwork is way over here. They're like two... This is a timeline and this is a timeline, and they're on separate timelines. They're not even. They don't even. No, one runs this way, one runs like this way, so they're not even parallel nor perpendicular or whatever else. They're on different timelines going completely different directions. tracing shit, and then tracing's involved because it's tracing your own shit. But outside of that, it's not the same. It's not the same, all right? It's not the same at all. It's different. It's fucking different, goddamn. But like always, I want to have a drawing to show for the end of this episode, so I'll try to get this one done at least. See how far I can get, I suppose. What do I have anything to talk about? Me. I can't remember if I spoke about the illustration contest in the last episode. I think I took the loss very badly. I could have been a bit of a better sport about it. I might make a video on that about what a bad loser I am, and how I could do better. Because I have my reasons. They're not necessarily, they're not good or bad reasons. They're just reasons, just my own personal reasons for how I responded to a situation, of why I acted a certain way.
I do that.
So like I say, might be a video on that soon. I've not been feeling videos lately. It's I can just about get like my art of videos out there, my podcasts and things, but it's a lot of effort to make like a video essay or something, even if it's like 5-10 minutes. It's a lot of work to produce a thing, and then especially when what you get out of it isn't necessarily, I don't get paid for them. I don't make money off my videos, so they're labours of love. Because I'm like an underground artist, like MFD. Me and Doom are basically the same. That must be why I liked him so much, because I relate. Because we're basically the same sort of person. I've got my persona, my villain persona, where I'm a bastard all the time, and I talk about dead babies and having sex with dead babies and piling up dead babies and sleeping in a bed full of dead babies. But also, I'm all right. I'm not that bad. It's a character, man. That's how I get away with shit. I just say it's a character, and then everyone's okay with it all, and that's all very good. They all drink lemonade. The end. I don't know. I'm torn between whether or not to use reference for the Doom painting. Because in one respect, I do want to be like really true to, the man in the mask. But at the same time, I want it to be its own painting. I don't want it to look like just... Because there's enough paintings out there that were done of like copies of photos of Doom that exist already. And that's not really what I want to go for. So I quite like this straight line here from the head to the neck to the shoulders. Quite like that. So I might keep that in the final piece. I don't want to have it too photo reference. Like Alex Ross is a great artist, and his photo references are very cool, very well utilised. But that's not necessarily what I'm about, man. I want paintings to look like paintings, not like copies of photographs. Do you know what I mean? That is pretty easy to understand. It's not an outrageous concept. And Doom was... That's what I worry about, actually, is if he died because there hasn't been like a cause of death released or mentioned. So I do worry that it was like to do with... It's not great to talk about, but like his size, he was quite a large fella. And He actually reminds me a lot physically of a comedian called Patrice O'Neill who died a few years ago. He was a big black guy, like huge, tall black guy, but also big, like in terms of weight and stuff. And he died. I think he had a stroke, but then he died also because of complications, because of like his size and health and stuff. And he had diabetes and other issues. And I do worry that like that was maybe something similar happened with Doom. Like, he was great at what he did, but maybe he just didn't take as good care of himself as he could have done. And that's me completely speculating. I have no idea, and it's not my place to even speculate. I shouldn't be saying that, but it's just I've seen it happen a few times in creatives. I worry about it myself. My dad died from similar things. Maybe that's partly why I keep an eye out for his weight and health and stuff. And maybe I worry that I'll end up going the same way. And maybe that's it. It's just selfish. It's just me worrying that that light is going to be pointed at me at some point. And I'll have to, admit that I don't take care of myself, and that I know I should take better care of myself, but at the end of the day, I just don't. Because I'm sad. Oh, I'm too sad to take care of myself. I mean, there's other reasons. Because I'm lazy. I'm too busy creating. I can't take care of myself. I'm busy creating. Leave me alone. Leave me to do my creative things. It's really difficult to get the size of the mask right, because there should be like gaps there for the side of his head, like his eyes there. Because the mask is always a lot bigger than I sort of picture it in my head. When you see Dean wearing it, it like comes away from his head quite a bit more than I thought it might. It's quite a wide thing. I might have to use reference for the hand, I think, when I actually paint it, because that's the sort of thing that, like, I could paint this really, really well. Maybe with or without reference, I could probably paint that quite well. But then when it comes to the hand, it'd be so easy to fuck it up. And I would be worried that I might do that, so might have to use some reference for the hand. We'll see. We'll see how we go when we get there. I heard about it on New Year's Eve, so I don't know if I would have mentioned anything about it in my last podcast. I don't remember when I did it. But yeah, I woke up to the news that I was no longer part of that drawing contest. And then just before it got towards like official New Year's Eve, like the big event or whatever, I found out, well, the news dropped about MF Doom. So that was like the end of an already not great day. But these things happen. But I find this might sound like Ewan being funny, like ha jokey Ewan. But it's quite genuine. I do mean it. Which is something I find that genuinely helps if I spend, not even ages, but if I spend an amount of time scrolling through things on the internet. I'm sure everyone else has this problem too. It becomes a bit much. There's just too much. I get too angry, too upset by everything going on in the world currently. So I find what I usually will end up doing is I'll look at porn, and then porn is so silly that Because not even like, I'm so angry and sad and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna fucking jerk my cock. It's more just like, you know, you see some tits wobbling around and a penis flopping about and liquids going everywhere. It's just so like, the contrast I think is maybe what does it. Is to go from despair and depression and anger of everything going on in the world to suddenly be looking at bodies flapping and slapping about and squirting things everywhere. I think that change is so like funny and silly that it doesn't necessarily lift my mood, but it changes my mood in such a way that I find it a good way of chilling out, I don't know, of calming down from all of the bullshit coming at us from every direction, specifically from America's direction, because, you know, they're not necessarily the worst at it, they're pretty fucking bad, but we see more of America because of, you know, news, media and social media. So that's where a lot of it comes from, but you know, sometimes you just go, do you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna look at some tits, some penises and tits, some cum and shit, and literally cum and shit if you're into it. I'm not into shit, I'm into a lot of things, but not shit. It doesn't really do it for me, but I don't judge if that's what you're... I mean, I absolutely do judge. Obviously, I'm only human, sadly, until they really properly develop cyborg parts, and then I won't be able to afford it, so I'll still be human. Oh shit, have I had porn on this whole time? Didn't even